On this episode of Mad Ginger Customs, we're going to finish the front of this floor. We're going to get the floor welded in. We're going to get all the pieces that we made welded in. We're going to get the trans tunnel in it, and we're going to get it coated and protected. Let's go! What's up, guys? So we're working on the passenger side. I'm not going to bore you with basically replicating the same video as last week because it's kind of the same process. I'm using a couple different pieces though because, you know, we use what we can find and we use what we bought, right? So I bought some 3/4 inch square tubing. That's what I'm using. So here's where we're at. Okay, so we cut the floor pan out. Maybe it went a little bit too much right there. Like here, this area. Probably should have been back here a little bit. So we're over 24 inches from here to there. That I'll just have to make a piece wider. Not a big deal. Couple braces in the front did the same thing. Dropped a piece of 1/8 down, blasted it to the post. Same thing over here, right? Cut all this away, welded some of that square stock together, or that square tubing, and that's basically holding this assembly from doing this, right? Because we don't want it to collapse in on itself. I did get an inner rocker bent up, and I just tacked it here. It's definitely not going to live there because I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to make all of it again, and I don't want to have a video of you guys watching the same thing again. So when you see it next, I'm going to have more of it cut out, and we're just going to keep moving forward. And then we're going to get this piece of floor in. I'm going to show you guys that, obviously, because it's going to be a little different. Then we're going to clean it up, and then we're going to coat it, make it look perfect. All right, guys, we're just kind of zipping through with the time lapse because if you want to see how we make the floors, I'm going to put a link in the description below, and that's going to give you Jess and I making these floor pans on the bead roller, and it's going to show you kind of like what it took to put them in. So this is where we're at. You know, obviously got a bunch of welding to do. Oh, there's mosquitoes the size of fruit bats. So got to finish welding. Almost done up in the front. Got to do all here where it's gapped out. But this pretty much along the edge is okay. I think I'm gonna take out this part of the rocker and just make a new one. We already made the other side, we might as well make this side. I'm not going to show you guys that because that's in a previous video. I'll also put that in the description. You guys can go back and watch that. That was actually pretty cool. I taught myself how to make a rocker. It was awesome. You guys seem to like that. So we're going to knock out the toe board next. All through here. I gave a couple in the front to give it some more strength. So when I tie it all together, it'll be strong. I'm actually welding these crossbars to the outside part of the frame, so they're nice and solid. Somebody made a comment on the last video where we did the other side of the floor, and he was like, hey, you know, you should put some rubber underneath those because they're going to squeak. And I think he's right. So at this point, it's kind of too late to do that. I don't know if I could lift them. I might be able to lift them and shimmy something underneath. But the other option is to do like what I'm going to do on this side and just tack them in on each side. And that way they can't shift and they can't squeak. Worst case scenario, I'll cut the tacks off and we'll have to just lift it with the jack, kind of pry it off and slide a piece of rubber underneath it and we'll call it good. So that's where we're at. And I'll get back after it after work another day. This is whooping my ass. All right. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see this, but this is my idea for a transmission hump. I'm not sure any of this is going to work. Never made something like this before. So found a center line, measured it in the front widthwise, measured it in the back widthwise, or vice versa. This is the front, this is the rear. And then I need 4.5 inches on each side, drop down about 45 degrees, and then we'll 45 this out. And same here. So I'm hoping this distance and this distance is remotely close. All right, guys, I bent that up in the brake. That brake needs a lot of work. It's not really holding firm. But overall, not so bad. Now, obviously, we need to tune the edge, and we need to cut the corner off the front because it's hanging up. And I still got to put the filler piece in there. But short of dinging this in and dinging it in on the other side, let me get you over there. You can actually climb through the car. So basically underneath this, there's actually a bolt holding this up right here and right here. That's why this isn't sitting down. So my plan is to basically hammer forge that in there, just beat that in a little bit and beat this side in a little bit. And I'm gonna actually screw this down so it's removable, right? There's a ledge up here. Let me show you that. That ledge, so I'm gonna cut this off, I'm gonna clean this all up. We're gonna have to continue this edge down over here. But what my goal is to put butyl tape all the way around and screw it down. Because originally, I think that's how it was. It did have like a little piece in the front that you could take off. You know, I'm gonna trim the floor underneath this thing so it's just as wide as this piece. But for the first time making that, not so bad. You know, I kind of gotta, you know, twist it, pull it, put it back in the brake, bend it the other way, bend it a little bit, then kind of twist on it a little bit. But guys, I mean, I made this thing in, I don't know, 15 minutes. I mean, after I measured it, maybe 15 minutes. So you guys could definitely do this. If you are like ever questioning, like, I don't know if I should get an older car because I probably can't do this stuff. I'm telling you can, and I'm showing you that you can. Now, granted, is this the correct way to do it? No, but this is cool, and it's, you know, just, it's basically like Dan from DD Speed Shop. This is hot rodding, right? You kind of just make it work. You make it work with what you got. Old school hot rodders made do with what they had, and that's what we're doing here. I got sheet metal, and I got a hammer, and we can punch some holes in this thing. And, you know, up here, maybe 2 here, 2 in the front where the original ones are. I'll just lop them off and punch them back through, and then we're going to clean all this up. Right? We're going to finish welding that, and then we're going to coat it. And I think overall, it's going to be okay, going to be decent. So I'll get back at it, and I'll come back to you. I was originally going to bolt the, or screw down the trans tunnel, but it is legit a million times stronger when it's all welded together with everything else. Like, it's so much stronger. And honestly, you know, I got my ring light in your eye. If I'm gonna swap this thing eventually, if this thing, the flathead, turns out to be junk or the transmission or something, probably gonna cut all that out. Because a Turbo 350 or C4, AOD, I probably put a 700 R4 in AOD just because I want overdrive. I'll probably have to cut the majority of this out. At least up at the top right there, you know? So, you're not missing much, just tacking. Ran a couple beads down this side. I got a little hole in the front I gotta fill from a little triangular piece that's, you know, just didn't end up getting in there. And that's just the way it happens when you have to piece things together. But overall, pretty happy with it. I have a concern though, and you guys might want to answer a question for me. So, a lot of the guys in the shoebox forums said that if you lower a car like 3 inches or more in the back, your drive shaft hits the trans tunnel. So I'm assuming that's this part right here. Or maybe to all the way back. I mean, I got some rot right there I gotta fix, but other than that, the rest of that's pretty good, and I just gotta clean it. Should I just cut it out now and run it, you know, a tube? I think I might just, I think I'm only going to lower the rear in this thing 3 inches. I got new leaf springs, or well, a used set of leaf springs that look new from a guy out in New York. I drove out to see him. Nice guy, beautiful car. He had a really nice car. And I think I'm just going to do 3-inch blocks, because I was going to, you know, at one point I was concerned because I'm like, am I going to airbag it because I don't have leaf springs to, you know, put in the back? And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending that much money on this car. This car is literally a rot box. I mean, maybe not when I'm done, because I'm replacing all the metal, it looks like at this point. But, so, getting back with the floor, I am going to keep welding, right, all the way around. I got to finish all the tacks. I got to break some stuff up in the middle, like I said. I ran out of gas in the welder, so I had to go get gas another day, obviously. I was concerned about trying to get the undercoating off the floor where I have to coat it. Now, let me give you guys the heads up of what we're looking at doing here. We're only going to go from here forward. This is all I'm concerned about with right now. And we'll do, because I got one little hole here I got to do. And then I gotta clear the back, get all the like undercoat out of it, and then address some little things, just like a hole there. But overall, it's not terrible. In the trunk, I think I'm just gonna cut the whole trunk out, and then we're gonna make a piece, bead roll it. It'll be cool. So here's what I found to deal with the undercoating. This undercoating is hardened tar, it looks like. So that's not gonna work for everybody. But this is a vibrating head multi-tool, right? Ryobi. Now this one has teeth, like in the, you know, you don't necessarily need the teeth. I think you just need it flat. So I had some flat blades. I mean, obviously I could take a, you know, grinder wheel, but check this out. Watch how well this works. I feel like that's the fastest way to do this. A guy had me buy a needle scaler. He says a needle scaler will do it. He said, but be careful, you'll damage the metal if you really go at it aggressively. So I think this is my best bet. I don't necessarily know I need to show you guys this. You just saw it. I mean, that's boring as hell. I'm not even going to time lapse that crap. So I'm going to do a quick run over the car, like just the areas that we're going to be cleaning, prepping, and coating. And then I'm going to finish welding the toe board, the little missing parts that I didn't have gas for. And then we're going to wipe it all out. And then we get to the good stuff. All right. Guys, I scraped that whole toe board all the way up to like the heater line. Maybe 10 minutes. The whole thing. So get yourself one of them vibrating head deals, you know. Ask your wife about those. She knows what's up. Grinder dust is not good to breathe. You should wear something. You know, if you're in a well-ventilated area, it's probably better. But man, whew, that is sweaty work. I'm probably covered. What? Guys, am I covered in it? Yeah. So anyway, we ground down all of the important areas. I got one hole left to fill in the middle that I found from one of the sheet metal mounts that was like a factory one. So just gotta tap that. And then I'm gonna clean it all out, wipe it all out, degrease it, and then we're gonna put some seam sealer down, smooge it around, let it dry, coat it, and we'll get back to you. All right, guys? All right, guys, we are about to show this floor who's boss. I got it ground down pretty decent, right? Now, Sweet Patina sent us a little care package a while back. Nice of them to support the little YouTube channels, you know what I mean? So, I mentioned I'd like to try that Sweet Patina Black Out, and bam, here it is, right? So, this stuff, I want to read it right off the can. Chassis underbody components can be brushed, rolled, or sprayed on. Applies to bare metal or rusted parts after proper cleaning. Dries to a hard, durable finish. Protects from moisture, salt, and chemicals that cause rust. No primer is required. Can be used on any metal surface. And can be top coated and or painted. So this stuff, it says it's well, you can spray it on, you can roll it on, you can brush it on. Surface should be cleaned of all grease, oil, and loose debris using Get Gone Degreaser. I happen to also have Get Gone Sweet Patina Degreaser. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give this a liberal juicing of the Sweet Patina Get Gone. And we're going to wipe it all out. And then I'm going to seam seal everything I can possibly do. A couple trains of thought, right? I've seen guys put seam sealer on with like brushes, you know, after spread it around. And then I've seen guys use like Bondo spreaders. Sleeper Dude just did one when he's like, oh, you know, he's a professional body guy. He's like, I use Bondo spreader. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. So I don't have a Bondo spreader. What I do have is an old Panera card, because there's no Paneras around here. And then I went over to the Dollar General, and I got the finest brushes imaginable. You know, all these bags. So I got this pack of brushes. I think we can just kind of, you know, like, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna spray this whole thing down and wipe it down, and then we're gonna seam seal this thing, and then we're gonna coat it. So like I said, we're only going from here forward. Give us like a before and after kind of effect. I like it. Let's go. So, as it turns out, it doesn't really matter how good a welder you are. So it doesn't have to be pretty, because the seam sealer, the way I did it, kind of looks rough, bro. It's pretty rough. So anyway, here we are, right? Smooched it all in. If you guys watch the time lapse, I used the brush because it was faster. And frankly, like I said, it's not a show car, right? We're just trying to get her done. So that seam sealer says minimum 30-minute dry time before you can paint. And then hopefully we're going to lay down some of this Sweet Patina and see how it is. And you guys will find out when I find out. And if I like it, I'll tell you I like it. Sweet Patina is not paying for this spot. You know, it's not paying for the video. They did supply the product for free. I don't want to hide anything from you guys. It was given to me. But I'm under no obligation to try to sell it to you. As you know, if it's awesome, I'm going to tell you it's awesome. If I don't really like it, I'll tell you that too. But you know, the cleaner, dude, the cleaner. Where's the rag? I cleaned this floor with like Windex, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use that Sweet Patina. Look at this rag. That stuff pulled all of this oil and crud off the floor. So, does the Sweet Patina, what is that called? Get Gone Degreaser work? Hell yeah, it does. Look at this towel. It's ridiculous. Anyway, back at it. All right, guys. Seam sealer's dry enough to paint. So says the instructions. So here we go. We're going to crack open the blackout. This has all been wiped down numerous times. I am running a fan behind the car to kind of push fumes out. And like I said, we're only going to do from here forward. And then we can compare and contrast. We got some old metal, we got some new metal, we got some kind of beat up metal. So we're gonna see how that Sweet Patina handles all that and how it looks when we're done. So I'm gonna set you guys up on a time lapse and we're just gonna knock it out. right, guys. So initial reactions, right? Now, like I said, Sweet Patina did provide the product. They are not paying me. So I can just give you my honest opinion. They basically just said, here, try it out, see what you think. And thank you for, you know, supporting a nobody. I'm nobody on YouTube. I'm not like Puddin's Fab Shop or Vice Grip Garage or any of these guys. You know, I only got, you know, a couple thousand subscribers, and they hooked me up. So, but anyway, honest review. Let's go honest, right? Let me swap sides. This stuff legit looks amazing. Like, amazing. And to be honest, I started to go, I didn't want to go into the toe boards and into the kick panels because I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough, right? They sent me a quart, and I'm like, well, I could maybe just do the, you know, just right here. And that'd be cool, right? And then I could, you know, do you guys a video, and maybe I get some cool coating out of it, you know? Get this. I did all of this. All of this. Kick panels, toe board all the way up. All of it. And I didn't go light. Like, I kind of was like sparingly with it. I'm like, yeah, just use it. You know what I mean? I'm not even kidding you. I have half of this thing left. And if you guys need to know, this is how you close any type of product like this. You get a plastic bag, right? You put the plastic bag on top, and then you put the cap back on tight. If you do not put a plastic bag on it, you will never get it open again. You will destroy the lid, you will destroy the can, and you will never open it. And you can at least use it one more time after you've, you know, saw the thing open. But I got a fan that I'm going to run in here. But, man, you guys that follow my channel, this car is just like a pile. Like, half the floor was just rotted, like, didn't even have one. And look what we did. Look what we did. We made these panels, right? Welded them in, made some kick panels up there. Made a transmission tunnel. I can do this. You can do this. I promise you. So, I'm going to come back and tell you what I think when it's dry. It's been a few hours. So, I mowed my lawn. And, I got a coffee. I didn't expect this to be dry. I don't even know if the can said the drying time on it. I didn't even look. But it's dry, and it's like really hard. Check this out. This stuff dries like glass. Like this is dry. This stuff's awesome. This really motivates me to want to get the rest of this car done, because that stuff's not looking so great, right? But I got a plan, right? We got the front done. We can put a seat in it. I got a couple little spots in the back here behind, you know, the driver area. And then in the trunk, we got a little bit of work to do. Like I said, I might cut the whole thing out and then maybe make a piece with some, you know, bead rolls in it, weld it in, kind of nice. And then finish the outside. We still got to finish the inside, this door. This door, the whole bottom of it is gone. So we got to fix that. Got to do all the finish work, fenders, that kind of crap. And then we got to work on getting her moving. We got wheels and tires. I got leaf springs for the broken ones. Got a pack that's mint, used. Got some air shocks from the same guy that tried them. He says, I don't like them. So we got that. I got coil springs for the front. I'm going to show you how to lower the front of a shoebox 3 inches for about 80 bucks. But anyway, wrapping this up. Can you do this at your house? Yes, you can. I'm proof. If I can do it, you can do it. I'd like to thank Sweet Patina, the Sweet Patina company. They came forward. They supplied this product to me because I had mentioned that I wanted to try it, and they took a chance on me. And I appreciate that. I'm under no obligation to sell their product. They didn't sponsor the video or anything. They just, you know, sent the can of it. And that was nice. Honest opinions, though, I mean, I'm actually, it's way better than I thought it was going to be. It's way better. I can't believe how good it is, honestly. It's that good. Jess came out here and she's like, oh, it's still wet. And I'm like, touch it. She's like, oh my God. She goes, that's how it dries? I'm like, that's how it dries. So good. So, like and subscribe. I'm going to have links to Sweet Patina in the description. And thanks for watching.